In 3, 2. Welcome back to another episode of Dare to Be Better. Almost. 3, 2. Welcome back to another episode of Dare to Be Better.
With Ray and Sid.
Glad you joined us again tonight. I'm having a blast. What about you?
I am. It's so much fun. I love it.
You love coming to New York?
Yeah.
It's gritty here. There's still a lot of New York left in New York.
Yeah. I love it. Just the feel of it, the atmosphere, the thing of everyone just is whoever they are. They just do their thing.
And I have to say, this studio, every time I listen back to this, the audio, it's just like, oh my God, there is so much like New York going on.
Just the noise and the clanking and people singing whenever they choose to.
No matter how much soundproofing.
Doesn't matter.
You know, if a heavy piece of machinery goes by, it's going to shake everything.
Yeah. It's the beauty.
Part of the charm. That's why we chose New York.
You can smell it too.
Yeah. Wait till you go to Jersey. It's even better. You came through Jersey. That's right. You know.
Oh. I know. There's one area that I was like, oh my laws, what's happening here? Because the odor.
Unbelievable. But you picked a great topic for tonight, and I know a lot of people have weighed in on this. One of the most, I think, important subjects and most important factions of our life, the importance of a mother and a father in a household. You know a lot about this. Mm-hmm. You're very lucky. You had basically two moms, like we talked about in the first show. A great dad who stood up for you all the time and always reinforced what a great person you were and highlighted your talents and said, only focus on that. That was my takeaway from my interview on the Ray Powers Hour. That's my favorite part of any story you've told me so far.
Is the fact that my dad was always there?
The fact that he's like, we're not going to talk about what you can't do, only about what you can do.
Right.
And he would just tell total strangers that, oh, she's a gymnast, she does all this great stuff.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. But I do have to make note that, my parents did divorce at some point. Okay. And so 2 parents at home, sure, ideal, right? Ideal. But I have learned that, and I'm a single mother also, that it's not necessarily 2 individuals under a roof. As much as it is, it's important to have a male and female balanced role.
At least present, yeah.
Whoever. Is it a neighbor? Is it a grandpa? But you just need the male and female that can come together to teach the boys and girls. Boys learn from men, girls learn from women. You can learn from both. But you just need that as much as it would be most ideal to have it under one roof. I don't think that's always going to happen, especially these days. No,
it's not realistic. I mean, people aren't getting married like they used to. We're going to get a lot of blowback from a lot of people. Before you do that, realize that, yes, we know there are men and men that are raising children, women and women who are raising children. Completely aware of that. You can still have those qualities. I truly believe, deep down, a man and a woman are still going to be the best for a child just because of what both sexes bring and what a mom and dad can give you. But I mean, with 2 parents in the house.
Yeah, and you can go find it elsewhere. I have, as we've talked before, good majority of my friends are gay, right?
Mine too.
And I'm going to be upfront. Many of them raise children much better than my straight friends.
Of course, because when they adopt, they realize, now you have a commodity in your life where you couldn't always get it.
Right. Yeah, whether adoption or, what is it?
They don't take it for granted.
Right. And you can do sperm donors and all of that kind of stuff.
They had to work harder for it. So they really, really appreciate once.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to minimize or trivialize, or placate, but
Yeah. But I think it is about finding whether it's the actual father and mother under that roof, but it really is about finding that male and that female somewhere in that child's life that can play that role of a strong, balanced, inspired mom or female. And same with the father. A man who can teach another boy how to be a man, meaning being gentle and kind and thoughtful, and be able to step up when it's time, like be a man. I
could do a whole season on this subject because I've dealt with a lot of, single moms as I was dating them out through the years, but also I tried to mentor a lot of young kids, in some areas where maybe you didn't have two parents.
Right.
So that means a lot to me.
Right. And you would be a great male example or a mentor, right, in a boy's life, because you do have a little, which I do like, you have an edge to you, that guy's guy thing. Like we went out doing some business to a bar the other day, and I really liked how you could just talk to the guys that are there, and you guys are talking about sports. You're just a guy's guy, and you can teach a boy that you can still be a man, but be gentle and be thoughtful and be kind. You don't have to be aggressive.
It's not puffing out your chest and look how big my biceps are, right?
Yeah, and I don't help around the house, and I don't change diapers, that kind of stuff.
The first time I changed a diaper in the Deep South, you should see the looks that I got from the men and the women going, he changes diapers? And you could tell the women are like, wow, that's, good for him. Secretly, quietly. Oh, so the men don't see it.
You don't come out and say that.
Of course not. You want to get out alive.
Right.
But, my feelings of this are very strong. And again, I think with the biological mom and dad in the house, you're going to have the best case scenario. It's not always possible. But, when you know your parents, obviously you had a completely different upbringing. Your birth mom, of course, couldn't keep you. You had an amazing upbringing.
Oh, yeah.
It could be step parents. It could be adopted parents. I'm not harping on the male and female, but when you're sick, who do you look for?
Those parents, whoever those parents are. Right.
But I have a tummy ache. I don't want to go to school. Who's the first person? Who's the lap you're crawling on?
Well, yeah, it depends on the relationship. So for me, it would have been my father.
Okay.
Right?
See, if I would have thought mom, but okay.
I would have found my dad, but he wasn't the cuddle type dad, but he was the father, which is kind of interesting because I love my mother dearly. It's not that I don't, but I really related to my father, and every day, unfortunately or fortunately, but it's like I'm becoming him.
It happens.
I'm saying those things.
I'm already my dad. I know this.
And I
even look like him.
At him. Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh,
when I used to go visit him in the home, the orderlies would be like, "Oh, that's your son. You don't have to tell me, Mom." I'd go to sign and show an ID. It's like, what are you talking about? You're Ray's son. Get in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You do kind of become them.
Yeah.
But for me, I would have found my dad.
Okay. I was thinking more of the doting parent, usually being the mom. Normally, not all the time.
Yeah.
And if you're afraid and you're threatened by somebody, who are you hiding behind?
Your dad.
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I would agree. So if I was sick or not feeling well, I would definitely go find my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just talking about gender roles that are traditionally, reserved for one or the other. And again, as a single mom, you've had to do both. And I was wishing on Father's Day, I was sharing it with everybody out there. I'm going to have to call, no edits. We're just going to have to deal with it. That's all.
It's just part of New York.
Just part of New York,
I
man.
love it.
You know what? We're going to go without it.
Okay,
We're
done.
just going to have to go, there you go. We're going to go raw dog.
Okay.
Please fix this, huh? Somebody.
Yeah. Somebody.
Oh, well. You have to deal with the pops, that's all. The peas.
Yeah.
See, you feel strongly about something,
Yeah.
and
that's what happens.
was I banging like Khrushchev? Is
That's
that what
what you were
happened?
doing.
Okay. Well, I hope the peas don't come through like. That's always the worst. No edits. You're not getting any edits.
No.
This is what you asked for. You wanted a real show. This is what you get. Okay? This is what you get.
Two people that don't know what they're doing.
We're gonna give it our best, though.
Okay.
This is what I love. I really do. This kind of just open forum.
I love it.
Yeah. it's as real as it gets. I mean, even the rape hours hour, I try to make that funny and edgy, and we leave all the little quirks in there, but that's never happened on my show.
Right. Well, now it's happened here, but your show is phenomenal. I love
Thank
it.
you.
Because people just get to be them, no one's trying to put on an act. They are who
Some
they are.
do, but right away,
Yeah. For the most part, they're just pretty raw. Love it.
Right. Mm-hmm. But I lost my train of thought. We were talking about parents and the gender roles.
Yeah.
Oh, I was talking about sharing Father's Day with all of the moms, including the dads, like you, who have to be single parents, and you've got to serve both roles. And it's not easy. It's not fair, but you do it. You step up and you do it.
That's correct.
Now, what is that like? I've never been a single mom, obviously.
Right. When
your girls come to you with a problem that probably should be something that dad would have to tackle.
So there has been several instances where they've had to come to me, and typically it would be best if a male or their father was handling it. But they had a special bond with my dad, so I like to approach them in the way my dad would approach. So I would say, if Papa were here, this is what he would say to you. This is what he would advise you to do. Those kind of things. And so even though it's coming from me, I still want them to hear that this kind of stuff is what a father does, or a male, a strong male who's guiding. This is what he does. And so that's why I kind of speak from my dad.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And that's how I handle that.
That's amazing. I really do take my hat off to any parent, single dad, single mom, who has one child, two children. I don't know how you do it. I've only got one. And I mean, there are several. There's mom, there's dad, there's grandma. There's a lot of layers of support.
Right.
And it still feels like, to me, it's like, oh my God, how do you do this?
Yeah. And in Utah, there's a lot of families that have 6, 8, 10, 12 children.
Right.
And those numbers aren't made up. And now there's more and more women who are single that are raising these families.
No, is that looked down on?
No.
In Utah, no?
Mm-mm. It's not looked down upon. I think part of the issue in Utah is that for the religion, I don't want to blame this on the religion, but the LDS religion is quite strong in Utah.
Sure.
And so the religion itself has a tendency to have their children get married quite young. And I'm like, my daughter is 19, and several of her girlfriends are getting married, and they're 19.
Wow.
So they're getting married young, and they're having children young. And because of the religion, they do believe in having large families.
Sure.
So these girls, and this is very typical, where they'll be 19. By the time they're 20, they're going to have a child probably every year for a good 5, 8, maybe 10 years. Just back to back to back.
Wow.
And I think a little bit of the hiccup there is that these girls are not raised to be highly educated, know their value, have their balance, know their self-worth, and then they get married young. And I'm not saying these men are cheating or leaving, but what if they get hit by a truck? You know what I'm saying? Now this girl's in the situation where she has no skill set, and she has these many, many children. So it's a little bit of a hiccup.
And, back in the old days, I think 80, 100 years ago, it was different, because if you had a farm,
Sure.
you had boys, they already knew their role. If dad died when they were like 16 years old, it's like, okay, I'm the head of the house now, I'm the man. It was a little bit, I think, simpler of a time for sure. I don't know about easier. Dying of malaria and polio, I don't really consider easy, but it certainly was different. Nowadays, there's a whole new set of challenges out there for boys and girls. I'd be afraid to send any kid out in the world today without, saying a rosary before letting them out in the wild, so to speak.
Yeah. And, so if you look at it from the guy's standpoint, so now he takes on this girl, and they choose to have their 5, 6, 12 kids. But how in the world is he supporting them? You see what I'm saying? Because somebody
Yeah.
has to be home with those children.
Of course.
And,
Well, I mean,
typically,
Yeah,
right? Because they
night.
can't usually afford to get a nanny or daycare.
right.
So,
You're just trying to feed these kids and clothe them.
and he typically in this religion would have just been home from a mission,
Right.
so he's 21, 22. I don't know how he's doing it, So there is some importance, of course, to having two, a father and a mother under that roof. Of course, that's ideal, right? But I will tell you, from my standpoint with my parents who did divorce after 33 years,
Wow, that long.
I wish they would have divorced many, many years prior.
When they first decided they couldn't live together.
They were never ones to fight or yell in front of us, but there was a lot of silence and you knew things weren't going well.
Right.
And part of the hiccup is that we all do what we are brought up to do. So all of my sisters and I, that's the kind of marriage we saw. That's what we thought marriage was. And all of us have gone and found a marriage just like that.
Wow.
So if they would have separated or divorced earlier, we would have had opportunity to see them. My dad did get into a healthy relationship, but that would have been nice to see him in that younger. So you could go,
yeah.
oh, that's what a healthy relationship looks like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always wonder after like 30, 40, 50 years, it's like, why divorce at this point? It's like, but I guess in your parents' case, they already knew. I guess a lot of parents stay together for the kids. And then it's like, well, at this point, what's the point of getting divorced? But you must just reach a saturation point where you're just like, we're not helping each other. I would imagine. My parents divorced when I was 6 or 7, way before it was fashionable. This is the 70s. And I was always that kid in school where the kids were whispering and pointing. Like their parents they didn't even know what a divorce was. They had never heard the word. And I went to Catholic school, so it just really didn't exist. But, my dad was there every single Sunday.
Wow.
As per his visitation rights, he was there every Sunday without fail.
Yeah.
He wanted to be there for us, and we couldn't wait to see him.
Yeah. See, that's great. My father would come every Sunday also. We'd have Sunday dinner. And one day he was over fixing the sprinklers for my mom. And a friend stopped. He was driving by and said, Ron, why are you over here doing this? You don't have to do this anymore. And I just remember my dad looked up at him and he goes, my ex-wife is the mother to my children. So when she is happy and healthy, my children are happy and healthy. And he says, I'll never say a negative thing about their mother in front of my children because I don't want to taint how they see their mom. They have a right to love their mom however they choose to love their mom, right? But that was something that my dad also did, is show up every Sunday. And he was still there throughout the week helping my mom, and so those were beautiful things. But my mom did go on to raise those children, as a single mother.
Sure. That's so important. Kids know when their parents are in it and they really, really want to be there. And I mean, I hate to see and hear about stories about deadbeat dads, and in some cases deadbeat moms, but usually you hear about the dad who doesn't even make the effort. I'm going to come around this weekend. They don't show, they don't bother calling. How do you do that to your own son or daughter?
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I just think that's called selfishness, right?
That's beyond selfishness, yeah.
And what the parent, whether mother or father, what they don't get is you don't get a second chance to build that relationship from childhood, because that childhood, it's the basis, right? It's the foundation. So you don't have to be in the home under that roof in order to build a healthy foundation and relationship with that child, but you must be present and you must make the effort. Even, with these teenagers, it's hard because sometimes it feels like, they don't want you there, but it's irrelevant. Those children do want you there, and you need to make that effort, show the effort, even though the kid appears not to want you there, because actually
they crave the discipline. They crave the upbringing, of course. Yeah. What happens when parents try to be their kids' pals? Does that ever work out? Never. No. You could do that when you are 30 and your parents are 60. Okay, now let's be friends because you're already out of the house and they raised you. Around 2025, I started getting it. It's like, oh, That's why my parents were such jerks and such unhip, lame parents, because you have to be.
Right.
If you're too cool and all the kids like you, chances are, you're not doing everything you could. No bueno is right.
No bueno.
But, it takes a while. I don't think, first of all, I don't think men become men until they're in their late 30s, if by then.
I agree with you.
Women, probably their 20s.
Yep.
It seems like it's taking longer now.
Yeah.
It's weird because, it seems like adolescence starts at 8 and doesn't end till 35. It's insane.
It's true. I would agree with you.
Used to be teen years, 13 through 18. You left the house, you got married, you got a job, bought a house at 22. Nowadays, it's crazy. It's different for sure. But I think it's gotten a lot more challenging because look at all the outside influences you have now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Hollywood and all these people telling you don't have to get married and you don't have to have two parents. And
there's a lot of cheating that goes on because it's just sitting right there on your phone.
Oh, my God.
The ability to cheat and do all the things you're going to do.
There are websites and apps dedicated to just that.
Yeah.
I mean, anything for a buck, right?
Yeah, it's a challenge. Absolutely. Yeah. Back when we were younger, if you were going to cheat, you had to work harder at it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if you wanted porn, you had to work harder to get it.
You had to go out at 1 o'clock in the morning and look both ways and go to the dirty bookstore and
get
plain
the
brown
video
wrapper.
and the magazine and whatever, and then you had to hide it.
Not that I know, but exactly. There was a whole, now it's on your phone. No one cares.
And you just go clear your browser. Mom and dad don't see what you have going on.
There's no age specifications. They're supposed to be, but we all know. The kids want something, they're going to get it.
Sure. Absolutely. And, that thing of not wanting to give the phone, a phone to the child too soon. I mean, in theory, that's fabulous, but they're going to school.
Yeah, exactly.
And somebody's going to show them whatever they're going to show them, right? So there's just a lot of things. And I just think really it's about being involved, right? Because you choose to, not because you have to. And learning to put the children, in front of yourself, those kind of things. But I think that you can raise a family effectively with a balance from father to father, mother to mother, or single parent. It is all about the ability, you need to be grounded yourself, first of all, and have your feet on the ground, have a balanced head about you. And then you start implementing people. What's that saying that a village raises a child, something like that?
It takes a village, yeah. I agree to a point. I mean, it's the nuclear family first, and then you have your generational family and your clan or whatever. That's where I think it comes from, back when you had actual clans and tribes.
Right.
Raising children.
Right.
But I mean, it's got to start with mom and dad.
Yeah.
Or whomever is in that house at that point. One of the saddest things I had ever heard from a friend of mine, single dad, divorced, and he's like, I asked him if he was going to come to a game or something. He's like, I can't, I got to watch my son this weekend, or the language. I have to.
Instead of,
I get to. I mean, my dad was always like, I got my boys this weekend.
Yeah.
We're going to go
and
raise
there was
hell.
like an up feel to it. Not like, ugh.
My dad would have us dressed properly for church, and if we weren't dressed to his liking, he'd send us back in the house and say, now put church clothes on. When this isn't going to fly.
Yeah.
And, it really did set a tone.
Sure.
I don't still dress. I can obviously dress myself now.
Oh, that's fortunate.
I mean, to a point. I mean, sometimes I leave the house and I wonder.
I mean, that's a whole nother show if you're unable to dress yourself.
Yeah, we'll touch on that at another time. But, it's just one of those things where, it's like, well, Sunday's coming. I'm going to get to spend time with dad. We'll go to a ball game. We'll just play catch or something. And, those are times where, especially now that I don't have my dad here on earth anymore, I can always look back and say, I had the best dad ever.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure you miss him. That's hard.
I can't. Yeah. I mean, I haven't even properly, gone there yet, honestly, because I don't know why. Maybe I'm just more at peace that, he's at peace. But, that day may come, those shoes will drop eventually, I think. But, Father's Day was kind of, I have my daughter, so,
sure.
I was there for her for Father's Day, But of course, you miss your parents once they're gone. Yeah. That's it. You may bitch about them. You may gripe. You're like, oh my God, my mom's such a pain in the ass. My dad's always up my ass.
Yeah.
And then one day they're not there anymore.
Yeah.
And you would kill for that extra 5 minutes of just, them being annoying and, just them being them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that, when you're talking about your father, everybody mourns differently.
Yeah.
And I do believe, like you said, he was in a lot of pain and,
it wasn't a good last couple of years.
Yeah. And no one wants to see anybody that they love like that. And sometimes it's a gift, for them to have a little more peace than that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That can be hard.
Yeah. I missed him by a couple of minutes, but I don't think he would have been in any shape, to really talk to us and recognize it. So,
right.
Yeah, I was okay. When I got to my stepmom's house and they're like, no, he passed when you were coming in. I was like, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's God's will be done, not mine.
Right.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
So, I'll get to see him again one day.
One day.
In 60, 70, 80 years.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't try to do that one sooner.
No. It's, again, not my time, but I'm hoping I get, another, I'll take another 100 years on it.
Right.
Why not?
Fine.
We got a lot to do ourselves here.
Oh, my gosh.
Right?
Yeah. We're doing a lot. Just always stirring it up.
I've already taken the show off the rails. Equipment's breaking here. I've got to put these on real quick to see. Okay. Just doing a time check here. That's all. It's all the curtain's gone. Oz is there on top of the box already. If you're still with us.
What's happening? Are we still doing something?
It's unbelievable. They wanted raw. Well, you got it.
Okay. Because I just started talking. I'm so sorry.
One day Sid started talking and she never stopped.
I forgot.
We jumped shows. What is this anymore?
I'm looking at him to let him know.
We have no idea. Yep. I love the deer in headlight moments. Those are great.
I know. Did I give that to you?
Oh, I gave one to you.
I know.
Do we know what we're doing? No, it's okay. It's just a reality check, that's all. But, definitely write in and let us know what you think. The last 2 weeks
Hey, and if it's negative, send it.
Send it to me, yeah, exactly. I get all the complaints.
He's the customer service.
Exactly.
Oh, gosh. If it's funny or happy.
If it's praiseworthy.
Send it to me.
Yeah, of course. Naturally. There's something else.
Funny. My cheek is starting to cramp right there.
Oh boy, I guess that might be our cue. We're out of here in a couple of minutes, but
are we? Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Write us RayandSidShow@gmail.com. Yeah, all the complaints. I eat those for breakfast. Look at us, just staring at each other. You never thought you'd run out of things to say, right?
No, I have a lot to say, but I'm trying to be polite and let us bounce back and forth.
Oh, I gotcha.
This is so hard for me. Okay.
See, even that you made about yourself.
That right there. There's a muscle right there that's cramping. Oh, gosh. Go ahead.
That's okay. Well, let's just go off the cliff. We're already in flames. We'll just steer right into it at this point. It'll be a pretty bright ride on the way down.
Okay.
But,
oh, my gosh.
I really needed that moment of levity. I did. It was getting a little heavy, with...
yeah.
Just thinking back, the last few weeks have been a little rough, Yeah. But, what I do is I just immerse myself in more work.
I know.
That's what I do.
I know. And then you have these people that are just crazy that pitch you something every day.
And, yeah. That was actually right after that. That was only about 4 weeks after, maybe 5 or 6. No, about 5 weeks.
Okay.
So yeah, again, the distraction I think I needed.
Yeah, the whirlwind of, holy crap. crap.
What is this?
Who is this? What is this? And I'm finding I'm just saying yes to everything just to get her to shut up.
Maybe if I say yes, well, then I'll have to do it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's what you learned. Most people you can say yes to, and things become quiet.
Yeah, they get their answer and they just tail off.
Yeah, Within 30 minutes, your contract's going to be done, your gig's going to be landed, the flight's going to be booked, and the show is ready to rock and roll.
And here you have it, kids.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, we did it again.
Okay.
Blew through 30 minutes, and we hope you had a good time. Yeah. We certainly did. We
always
entertain
do.
Ourselves. Equipment failure and...
sit and stare at you guys.
That's it.
And then stare at one another.
New York City traffic. What else did we have this week? Pipes are probably breaking all around us, and the rats are taking over. Yeah, that's okay. I'll take it.
It's beautiful.
You know, it really has become New York again. It's become a neighborhood for sure. It's got character again. That's how they're selling it. So we'll just go with that, right?
Okay, I like it. Still smells the same, but.
I guess it smells better in Salt Lake.
Yeah. You just got to pick your urinals areas, because I found that many of the... What am I doing?
Taking stairs?
Yeah. I found when I go to some areas where you have to take stairs up, urinal. It smells like a urinal.
Someone just couldn't make it all the way and just decided to use the stairwell.
You just have to choose your stairwells appropriately, and then you're fine.
That's a lovely thought.
I know.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Well, we hope you had a great time. Join us next week. We'll have an all-new show for you. Mm-hmm. If we have one mission statement, it's dare to be better.
With Ray and Sid.
Hey, thanks for checking us out. If you enjoyed the show, like the video, subscribe to this channel, and please tell your friends. We'd also love it if you headed over to daretobebettershow.com for tons of cool photos, extras, and a chance to shop for some sweet show swag. Say that 5 times fast. I could barely say it once. If you keep coming, we'll keep delivering. Thanks again.